What's up, Devils? J-Dog's back, and he's here to answer some Devils again. And today what I did is I went through a few videos, 3 or 4, and I copied, actually kind of read them this time. Skimmed them, copied them, and I had them on my computer, so I'm not going to bring them up on my phone this time. Copied them and pasted them here on a fucking word pad. Just going to bring it up, read them off, and do all like I usually do, just not my phone, because I'm getting so behind. I'm literally like 7 videos behind of questions. So I kind of was just skimming through and just grabbing questions just at least to knock a few out. I'm probably going to do that for like I think I got after this 3 more videos I need to do because this is like 3's worth, and I don't even think the ones I copy and pasted might have to be 2 videos worth. I copied a shitload of them, but if I get them all through on this one, I'll do it. If not, I'll do a second one. But anyways, I'm just doing that because otherwise I'm never going to get these through because I'm doing a video every day, and every video you guys are leaving a lot of questions, which keep them fucking coming. I'd rather have way too much than not enough because, like I said, my biggest concern was running out of material to talk about to give you guys a video every single goddamn fucking day. None of this half-ass Monday through Friday shit, right? Even Saturdays and Sundays, motherfucker. So keep those goddamn questions coming so I can keep doing them. Like I said, too much is better than not enough. So here the fuck we go. We'll see how many we get done on here. From Hugh War Morgan 74. Shut up, Rabra. Not sure if I'm saying that right. Something I've never done, but see lots of people do. Have you ever been to a concert wearing corpse paint? Just like you, I've never done it. I kind of don't see the need for it. I've seen it. It looks kind of silly, like what are you doing? But I mean, whatever. If they got the black metal spirit, I think it's cool. I mean, I'd rather see that than a fucking somebody wearing a goddamn Adidas jacket or some sports fucking jersey or some stupid ass non-metal looking shit. At least it's fucking metal looking. It's kind of, I don't know, almost a little embarrassing, but whatever. It doesn't bother me. I've never done it and probably wouldn't do it. But I don't have a problem if somebody does. From Mark Colby Marks, J-Dog, what's your thoughts of Goat Whore? I've been watching them since their early beginning when they were just a local band. I've always been impressed by them. You know what, with Goat Whore, that's kind of a band that I've always not listened to, I guess you'd say. I was going to say not paid attention to, but that's saying it's kind of the wrong word because I know exactly who they are. I've always seen them putting out albums. And I want to say I've definitely listened to them, but a little bit of a backstory, I guess, a little bit of story time here, goddammit, is one of the reasons that they just kind of left, I wouldn't say a bad taste in my mouth, but almost kind of like I figured they're going to be a poser black metal band, was the guy that started, what is his name? Is his name Louis? The singer, anyways, I actually met him. It was at the singer of Soylent Green. I'm assuming he's still doing Goat Whore or whatever, but he's the balls of the band. He is the band. I don't know, but all I know is before Goat Whore even existed, in the 90s, I was at a show that Soylent Green was playing, and we were talking to the guys. I was on a Relapse, one of those. It wasn't. I don't think it was the Contamination tour. I think that the Contamination tour was. I think that was the Exhumed, Cephalic Carnage, and Deceased tour, and I think that was like 2000 or so. So it was before that, but it was one of those kind of like. If you guys go back in the day, I remember that a lot of the Relapse bands would tour together, do tour packages, and this was at the Flying Machine, and it was another ghost town of a show. Anyways, was talking to guys in Soylent Green or whatever, and I remember the singer, because I can't remember his name. I don't know why Louis. I think they're from Louisiana. Maybe that's why his fucking name Louis. It's probably like Jack or something. Don't remember his name. But anyways, talking to him seemed like a friendly guy. I just remember being him like a white wife beater, and he just kind of looked like kind of almost just like a don't care skater thrasher type thing, which it fit the bill for a band like Soylent Green was look. But then when he literally was talking, yeah, I'm starting up now a black metal band. It's going to be called Goat Whore, and I was just kind of thinking like, you don't even look like you're into black metal. You're into black, like you like, and then from Soylent Green, nothing. It just kind of just seemed like I don't know. It just seemed like this guy's just doing black metal for like, I don't know, because it's cool or whatever. Not saying that's the case. That's just the vibe I got. We're talking, I was probably 14, 15 years old. And for whatever reason, it just kind of sat in my mind, and I don't think I've ever checked it out. I kind of been meaning to, though, because we got stuff, and tons of people told me, oh, dude, the new Goat Whore is great, or the first Goat Whore album is fucking awesome. I probably, when I'm thinking of it, if I see it at the shop or something, and if we have a disc, I'll check it out. Because I've been telling myself for the last 10 years to check it out. But it's funny, I heard about that band and knew it was going to start up before the band even existed. Point Mike told me, and it just kind of like, I just thought it was weird. Like, what? I mean, kind of like, Soylent Green's kind of like a Pantera trying to play grindcore, I guess. And it's kind of like, what the fuck? You kind of don't have any business playing black metal, but whatever. So that was just kind of the thought in my mind. I don't even know if that's the same guy in the band anymore. I have no idea. Goatman. Rest in peace, Jim. I know I've asked a myriad of times, but do you have any stories about Brian Baxter or his store? Um, yeah, I'm sure I do. Nothing that's too like eventful story wise. The store stories was so it's called Extreme Music with an X, not like with an E. Is called with XTREEME. I think that's how you spell it. Extreme Music. And you went in there, all they sold was metal, like literally metal. I think so. Sometimes they would I remember they kind of rip on guys. You could see a guy coming in looking for, the guys that we were always ripping on, the Slipknot, Corn guys, and like they're looking through the shelves or whatever. Like he's just looking for Coal Chamber or something of that nature, and then just looking around and like can't find it, and he just leaves empty handed because you'd go in there and I mean like anytime you went in there because it was Brian and Mutant Mike who owned the shop. All those guys, I want to say all they like, but primarily what they like is shit. I think they like less black metal than me. You guys think I don't like black metal? Fuck, I don't. I don't think Mutant Mike likes any black metal, and I think the only black metal that Brian likes is I could be wrong, but I think like is Immortal, Marduk, but yeah, extreme stuff in very very few bands, but definitely not like he would think Old Man's Child and shit. That's fucking gay, bro. As a matter of fact, around that time too, what was it? Was it Corpse Crystal Records? And Brian would always wear the shirts. I mean, all you guys from the early 2000s, late 90s, I'm sure you remember seeing these. They would be wearing shirts, no gay black metal. That's literally what the front all the shirts said. So they're like anti-black metal guys. So like if you brought up like Old Man's Child and Damie Borger, they just rip on that stuff. They did sell that as well because of any underground metal. But when you go in the shop, all they'd be playing is like Hemorrhage. That's how I first heard Hemorrhage. Anatomical Inferno. I thought it was fuck. I was like, this sounds like General Surgery Carcass. What is this? And Mutant Mike told me. I think I was 14. I bought it immediately. That's how I heard Last Days of Humanity. That's how I heard Devourment. They'd be playing Flesh Grind, Regurgitation, Christian, just all brutal, brutal shit. I don't even think I've ever gone in there and they were playing even like let's say Razor or Sacrifice or any type of thrash, Metallica, Slayer, the classics, Venom, Merciful Fate. I don't. In fact, I can honestly say I've never heard of them playing that. Not saying they didn't, but I've been there many, 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 many times, and it was always just brutal death metal. Disgorge, California, Disgorge, Mexico, Severe Torture. That's all the shit they'd always be playing. So it's at a really cool atmosphere. And they had all, if it was any of the brutal stuff, they definitely got that. And then like I said, any other extreme music they carried as well. So it was literally like, you didn't go there. Like, as a matter of fact, if even like some of the other bands, like, would they get the new Venom or whatever at the time or the new Merciful Fate at the time? I can't remember, but I want to say they would, but at the same time, if they didn't, I wouldn't be surprised. It was like underground metal only. Like, so it was pretty cool in that sense. And, the only stories were just like literally every time that we went to a show that was really nearby, which was very often because where the extreme music still is. I mean, the shop's still there. It's just a space that's rented out. I don't even know if it might be just empty now or somebody else is renting it doing some whatever fucking ceramics or some shit. Who knows? But there's still 3 or 4 clubs. There's the Blind Lemon, or is it called, what is it called? The Foundry now. This is called, I think the Foundry now used to be called the Blind Lemon. There's what am I drawing a blank? Now that's Glass. There's the Symposium and the Fantasy, but the Fantasy isn't doing much. But anyways, those 4 for sure were around doing shows all the time. So it's kind of like when a metal show came, there was a good chance it was there, and if it wasn't there, it'd be at the Agora, which you could kind of still stop by. When I say these 4 shops, they're all walking distance from the shop. They're literally like, what is it? The Symposium is literally like, the Fantasy is literally next door. Is the very next door. Like, is one door over from the fucking from Brian's shop. So you went in there all the fucking time. So any of those 4 venues, you definitely went to Brian's fucking shop because it was, why the fuck wouldn't you? It was walking distance. At least get there early, you shopped, just hung out or whatever. But if you went to the Agora, you could stop by. Agora was probably like 25 minutes away or whatever. Not 20, maybe 20 minutes, whatever, because it's more just downtown. But you could stop because you're heading up north. The only time you won it for shows, there was the Flying Machine, which is out in Lorain, Ohio, which is bumfuck nowhere. That was not even on the way. So any of the other shows, if it wasn't at the Flying Machine, and Peabody's too. Peabody's was downtown. You could stop, but if it's kind of like an on the way type of thing. You know what I mean? But the other 4 clubs, which tons of shows were at, you just got to go in all the time. So just stores just did a lot of shopping in there and hanging out, talking to Brian and the guys from Morgue in France. They lived there for a little while, kind of like stayed in there with Brian. I know they had a falling out. I don't know what that was all about. That's kind of a Brian question. And then other like little stories. I remember when when Exhumed and Mayhem was going to play, they everyone was kind of hanging out at the thing because I think they were supposed to play the Fantasy, like I said, which was next door, and Mayhem canceled. It was on the Grand Declaration War tour. Exhumed was on for the Slaughter Cult, which is my favorite album. Mayhem canceled. Everybody's just hanging out Brian's store. There's probably, I don't know, 50, 60 people, whatever, just hanging out inside Brian's store. Outside of the store, I remember it being nice out. It was fucking springtime, summertime. And basically, Exhumed kind of said, I didn't even know what they looked like at the time. Because if you look at the early stuff, like all I had was gore metal. I think the only thing I owned at the time, was gore metal. In fact, I know it was the only thing I owned at the time was gore metal because I didn't have the 7 inches or anything at the time. So there's no pictures in gore metal. I didn't know what they looked like or anything. So they were kind of just hanging out with the crowd. Brian knew them, and Brian kind of said, yeah, Exhumed's going to play for free, but the Fantasy won't let them play because, I don't know, because of ticket sales, whatever they need to charge for them. So they went up to, or maybe the Fantasy was the one they played. They played one of the, like I said, there's 4 clubs. They played one of them. Whatever club they were supposed to play, they didn't or couldn't because the club wouldn't. But the other clubs were like, yeah, we got nothing tonight. Just you can play here, whatever. And Exhumed played for free. And that's the very first time I saw Exhumed. One of my favorite shows to date. That's where I got to meet. I met all of them. I hung out with them, Matt Cole, Mike Beams, and Bud. That was the lineup at the time. That was a super fucking good time. So that was kind of, like I said, right outside Brian's shop. And then another other kind of story. I forget why it went down like this. A show canceled or something. But it was one of the times when Deeds of Flesh was touring, which in the early 2000s, Deeds of Flesh was playing left and right. I've seen Deeds of Flesh tons of times. And it was always probably around 2000 to like 2002. In that area. And so it was one of those years. It was them, Mortal Decay, and it might have just been them 2 that actually played. Long story short, I can't remember why or how or what happened, something canceled or whatever, but they there was just a handful of people that kind of showed up, just like, hey, it's a free thing, and they played inside Brian's store, which was cool, but at the same time, there was like no room. So I remember Eric, from Deeds of Flesh, now rest in peace. He was just leaning up against the glass stand with the CDs or whatever, just playing guitar, and the drum set was just kind of set up in the middle. I think they did like another thing like that of a show I didn't go to, if you want to call it a show, but just a band playing in the shop. I think they did do to another thing. I can't remember which band. I was not at that. The only one that I was personally at was the Deeds of Flesh, Mortal Decay, and it's funny because you're in Brian's shop, but Deeds of Flesh, doing a unique leader and stuff. They had the distro as well that they'd always bring around, and they were kind of setting up shop too. So when Brian was cool with it, whatever, they're distroing kind of inside of a distro. And I remember doing some shopping. Actually, that's where I bought the album Behemoth, Satanica. That's where I bought that album, was from the Unique Leader distro. And I remember that was when I first started hearing the term sick being used in a sense. Well, Brian was kind of using it, but being used like so loosely, I guess. It was Jacoby. Is that how you say it? I can never know. Is it Jacoby or Jacoby? How do you pronounce that guy's name? Because there's a name Jacob, so it's Y. That's why I say it's Jacoby, but that sounds like, I think it's Jacoby. But it was him, otherwise, and met him several times, and I doubt he remember me or whatever. But always a friendly guy, and I've talked to Eric several times. He was always really cool. But I remember Jacoby looked at like, yeah, so yeah, what'd you guys pick up? Whatever, kind of just the 3 of us, or whatever. It's like, you're getting sick shit, and just throwing that term around, because it's funny now, like. Back then, I'm like, sick shit. Like, what does he mean? Like, what's sick about it? Like, this is, like I said, the year 2000, and I'm fucking 15 at this time. So now it's like you have the outside public that uses that term talking about fucking football, for fuck's sake. That was a sick pass. And it's like, dude, stop using that term. It's kind of like, that Homer fucking Jay Simpson line from The Simpsons, where is he talking about the word queer? And stop using that word. That's our word. We need it to make fun of you. It's kind of like that. Stop using our metal terms. You got no business. You don't even know what the fuck it means. You know what I mean? What's sick about it? Fucking regurgitation, tales, and necrophilia. That's fucking sick. Hemorrhage. That's fucking sick. Last Days of Humanity. Look at those covers. That's fucking sick. It actually fits the goddamn bill. Not some idiot football game or whatever crappy ass music they're fucking listening to. So yeah, those are kind of the stories that come up with as far as when you say Brian Baxter or the fucking extreme music. Nothing like super eventful. I've bought lots of stuff there. It was an awesome fucking shop. Glad to have been there around that time. So yeah, all you guys that are younger, maybe Goatman, it sounds like you're probably younger, yes, because you weren't around the time or whatever. So yeah, if you guys are 20 years old or fucking younger, or 21 even, 22, yeah, you weren't around. And I'm glad I was. It was fucking awesome. Kind of like when I would hear like the Kanye stories and the Dwayne Morris and Dawn of the Dead and guys talking about the 80s, I'm thinking, oh fuck, man, I missed out. You hear those stories. Now me, I'm kind of like,
you reliving yours, and oh man, I've got some kind of cool stories too. I lived some kind of cool shit. I mean, because in my mind, like fucking the metal scene today is much lamer than it was 20 years ago. I was like, oh, it's cooler back then, because it's your youth, it's what you're used to, it's what you grew up on. So it's always going to be that for every person, whatever their time frame was. So yeah, glad to have been part of it. And then Brian, just I've known Brian for years. Seen Regurgitation tons of times. Uh, Taken tons of Regurgitation photos at shows. Brian always loves our photos. Always got along with Brian. Anytime I see him at a show, I hang out with him, talk to him. So I've known him for I think I've known him since I was like 14 years old. So known him most of my life. So yeah, really really cool guy. Very easy to get along with. I would question if someone was to say, yeah, I don't get along with Brian at all, I would question if that person is a jerk or not. Because I'm like, what do you mean? Maybe you guys don't like the same stuff or whatever. Like, how can you not get along with him? He's kind of like, it's almost impossible not to get along with him. The guy's really funny. He's really, really laid back, cool guy. I don't know what's not to like. So, yeah, guys, actually, that was kind of a long-winded one. I'm going to cut off there, make separate videos on the other questions because, like I said, I got a boatload of them. But, I didn't know how long it was going to take to tell the Brian story. I figured it was going to be a 2-second fucking went to the shop, fucking bought shit. But, yeah, trying to answer in detail and put down a little bit of memory lane and give a little bit of story time, right? So, yeah, hope you liked it, guys. Leave the comments on this one fucking too so I can keep the goddamn videos coming, keep them streaming along. Like I said, I want to go all of fucking 2022, not miss one goddamn fucking day. So keep them coming, goddamn it, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.